Okay, now comes a section that it can be slightly confusing. This goes under the definition of preserving a carrier's right to inspect. Now, I want to take you back to the homeowner's policy, and I want you to realize that sometimes, and I'm not saying this makes any sense whatsoever, we just covered the section where the policy says you must immediately mitigate or preserve the property, right? Prevent future damage. The weird thing is that there's also a section just below that that says you have to cooperate and let the insurance company do whatever inspections they think are appropriate, however often as they want them to do that. And the reason for these inspections are they want to be able to make decisions, gather information before things are changed materially. Well, now we have this problem. You have a policy that says I have to mitigate, and you have a requirement that says, but you can't really change anything significantly before I inspect. So you have two things that are in tension with one another. And so that you see this, I want you to look back. Go ahead, back to the screen here. I want you to see that we're still in the same section 2 of our homeowners form 3, which is a standard homeowners form. We're going to come down to the section B, duties after loss. Now you're going to see number 4, protect the property from further damage. But if you go down to number 7 here, all right, it says, as often as we reasonably require, show the damage, provide us with records and documents, submit to examination under oath. It's the show the damaged part that is at issue here. You're required to show your carrier the project, like I said. But if you change anything before the carrier gets there, you have technically deprived them of the opportunity to do a full and complete inspection. So what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to mitigate. You're supposed to preserve the property. This section actually identifies identifies that requirement. So I want you to see, again, if we look here, we'll see that the IICRC says that mitigation procedures should begin as soon as safely possible following the initial moisture intrusion. It's the same reference we used before. This is how you know that the standard says we're supposed to do this. However, the second little section here is the duties after loss that we just looked at in your homeowner's policy that says that you have to show this. So here's what we're going to do, guys. As far as I'm concerned, the insurance companies asked you to do two things that could be considered to be mutually exclusive. Now's a great time to get on the phone with your insurance company and ask them which they would like to have done. How much do you want us to mitigate? How much do you want us to remove? Can we get your consent in writing? Listen again, in writing. Repeat after me, in writing. Not oh no, go ahead and do that. No, we'd never have any problem with that. No, in writing. We're not doing anything without stuff documented. That's rule number 4. Do the right thing. Be transparent. Tell the truth. And if it's not documented, it never happened. In writing. All right, this is a really, really important part, because if you don't document that your carrier said to move forward, and your carrier comes back and says, well, you tore out the whole house, and we don't know if we owed for any of those things, so you deprived us of our inspection rights. I know it sounds like a little bit of a game, and it doesn't have to be. It could be if someone wanted to make it into that, but it shouldn't be. So this can be as simple as pick up the phone, call your insurance company and say, look, my contractor simply wants to know whether or not he has your consent to begin doing any active demolition on the property, or do you simply want him to stabilize and extract the water and wait for you to come and do your inspection? Which do you, Mr. Adjuster, Mr. Insurance Company, because it's your policy that says that I have to do two things that are technically mutually exclusive, which one do you want me to do? Now, make them put it in writing, and I want you to understand, if your contractor doesn't want to move forward, if they don't put that in writing, all right, I think you probably might want to support them in that. Because if they change it at the end of the day and the insurance company doesn't pay, you made the decision to move them forward when the insurance company wouldn't respond. Therefore, it could be your loss. They could consider that was your direction that did that. Remember, I'm here to make sure everybody doesn't have these kind of issues, that everybody stays in their lane and everybody plays the game fair. So in a sense, it's not really fair to demand you to do two things you can't do at once. So it should be no big deal for the insurance company to tell you whether or not they want to, have the water extracted and basic work done, and have it stabilized till they inspect, or if they're going to agree that it's okay with them for you to tear out what you need to tear out, just take good pictures. Whichever direction that is, we're going to ask that you request your contractor to preserve that right, and then create a stream of documentation with you for that. Super important. I know it seems like it's a little nitpicky, but I can't tell you how often I find insurance companies not wanting to cover something because as far as they were concerned, they don't owe for it. And they don't owe for it because they never had the right to inspect. So, go fall in your holes. Don't fall in my holes. And this is a hole I know about. So let's fill that sucker in, and nobody gets to twist an ankle on it. See you in the next section.